Oh, hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If Scorpio is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Here's a Three of Swords, usually a card of heartbreak and sorrow and pain and trauma and all that stuff, right? I feel like this is, in some ways, this is your ability to understand the past, to understand the things that have happened to you. It's kind of like you don't want to forget about all the challenges, all the losses. You don't want to forget about the pain and heartbreak because it kind of, I don't know, it teaches you something. It helps to create the kind of strength that you need inside of you, you know? And I think this is something that I think is, I know a lot of Scorpio people like this, you know, where they, from the outside, it may seem that they dwell on the past, that you dwell on the negative stuff. I don't feel like you do, or I don't feel like that's a bad thing. Because I feel like you're not reliving the moment over and over and over again, which is sometimes what this card is about. I feel like you are trying to keep things somewhat fresh in your mind so that you can understand why or what, right? Or how things happen so that you can apply that wisdom to the future. I'm almost going to predict that we're going to get the Queen of Pentacles here in your reading somewhere. I think you're somebody that's been through a lot. I think that you're somebody who doesn't let the past control them. You learn how to use it for your benefit. You learn how to turn it into a strength, how to turn a loss into a win, you know? And I think that this is really, this is a source of strength for you, your ability to do that. Your ability, you're not afraid of the darkness. You're not afraid of the dark, you know? Yeah, I guess it makes sense that your power card is the death card. But let's put this into some context. Let's see what else we've got going on here today. Five of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, Four of Cups, a Princess of Cups. Oh, we got a double shot there. Look at that. We've got a Seven of Swords right into a Six of Wands. Very nice. A Seven of Cups. Right into an Eight of Pentacles. That's very nice too. I find this to be a really interesting series of cards that we have here. Right? We've got four, we've got five, we got a six, we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, and finally the Eon. This card was going to come out on its own, another Four of Pentacles. Interesting here that we only have the one major arcana energy, right? It's sort of strange. It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then bang, right through this doorway to the future. And that to me feels amazing. We're going to select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. It's going to go right here. We're going to put Alien, Simon Mork Ripley right there on top. I'm going to start my timer here so this reading doesn't go for an hour and a half. If you have a prediction for that card, put it in the comments. Yeah. I want us to use our intuition. Let's make it interactive. Let's do it as a group exercise. All right. Let's take a look around the room. This is really an interesting kind of deal. We've got one major arcana energy. We've got a little bit of fire. We've got, you know, quite a bit of water here. We've got a decent amount of air as well. And then, of course, we have our earth energies. Okay, and we got our extra earth energies here. So really, it feels to me like there's a lot going on in your heart and your mind right now. A lot of thoughts and feelings, I think, kind of about, not only about the present and the past, but about this future that's on the other side of this doorway. This is, you see something on the other side of this. And I think you see, primarily you see a Four of Pentacles. You see something stable. You see power, strength. You see safety, security, stability. Right? You see a very strong structure here. Very, very kind of a presence, you know. And I think that's what you can see on the other side of this doorway. And this is a difficult doorway to go through because it requires you to sort of squeeze your way through. And anything that's not essential, anything that's not really needed on the other side is kind of burned away. It's a fiery doorway, right? It is your rebirth into this new land, this new life, this new future, this new version of yourself. And there's a lot that you've got to leave behind. There's a lot that you don't need anymore. Okay? So we see some of this water energy as kind of the cleansing bath, right? The Seven of Cups, I think, is important because it's important that you realize what your desires, what your goals really are, which ones need to be left behind. Okay? If we're going through this doorway, if we're considering this to be really major success, you've got to understand the right recipe for that. You know, there's some things we don't need anymore. There are thoughts we don't need. There are feelings we don't need. There are desires, indulgences, and values and beliefs that we don't need anymore. Right? So we've got our one major arcana energy. We got a little bit of fire, water, air, and earth. It's pretty well balanced. It is all leading up to this doorway. I feel like you're on the threshold of something really, really big. And I feel that like you're right at the doorway here. You're right at the threshold, and you're just kind of you're a little anxious, right? You are looking through the doorway, and you can see the life on the other side, but it's just like it's going to be a tight fit. It's not going to feel so good to go through the doorway, right? It's going to take some strength. It's going to take a lot of I think a lot of clearing out. I think you're in a phase of sort of purging some of your energy right now. Okay? Purging a lot of thoughts and feelings at the moment. In order to get to this, and we'll put this right on the other side of that, I want to do a Divine Doorway card for our Eon card before we get too far into anything else. Let's see. Divine Doorway, here we go. The morning memory, it says. Its healing gift runs a destined course, the morning dawn, our inspired source. Meditate under the sun. Its healing gift runs a destined course. Inspired source. Our healing, right? Our healing, its healing gift, anyway. I feel like that's kind of what we're working on here, is converting a lot of this I don't know what to call it, trouble energy, I guess, into strength, right? Into fuel, right? Learning how to transmute some of this stuff into very positive energy. And that's the difficulty. The difficulty is the Eight of Pentacles. This is the card of healing, right? That is the card of kind of the slow and the steady improvement of something. That takes time, it takes effort, and it's a slow and gradual progress. And this is the difficulty. Okay. We talked about the Three of Swords, and that's your ability to really put yourself in that energy and understand it, right? To find the wisdom in it. The Five of Pentacles is all about change. It's all about knowing that that change is coming. Now, we've had this kind of this trend on our channel here for the last couple of weeks. We're getting the Tower card a lot. I think a lot of readers are getting the Tower card very often during their reads. And we don't have it yet. Okay, maybe the mystery card, but I almost kind of wonder if like this whole thing is the inside of a Tower card. We're right up there with that Tower moment. We're about to hit that major breakthrough. We're about to go through this fiery doorway. And it's kind of like we're going through all of the anxieties and the worries and the thoughts and the feelings and the changes in the environment that kind of go hand in hand with a Tower moment. Tower moments are never easy, even though we know on the other side of them there is positive thing. Like the dust will settle, things will stabilize. We need to go through the tower moments, and we will achieve our stability on the other side. So anytime we see the 5, right, we start looking around for the 4. And it's interesting that we had a 4 in the past, and now we're kind of in the 5 now, and now we're looking for another 4. So it's kind of going 4, 5, 4. It's a pattern, right? It's repeating 4, 5, 4, and it's a cycle, yeah? So I think that we're in the midst of this 5 now, where a lot of things are changing in your life. I think that you might be involved in a big transition at work, or a big transition at home, or at school, or in your personal relationships. It's kind of, to me, it feels like there are some, first of all, there are some toxic energies in your life that you're in the process of clearing out, of your understanding kind of why they were here to begin with, again, kind of 3 of Swords, why these relationships were here, but then also coming to the realization that it's time to show them the door. It's time for physical changes, right? So you might be kind of on your way out of a relationship, on your way out of a work situation or a friendship, or any other kind of entanglement, right? And really, it's coming by way of that 4 of Cups, because the 4 of Cups is stable. It's kind of saying, things are here that we've we've gotten used to this situation, but now we're understanding that, okay, it's just because you can adapt to something doesn't mean you should. So with the 4 of Cups, you've settled into a particular situation, and now you're starting to realize it might have some toxic elements, that the lessons that you were meant to learn, you have now learned them, and you're going through that 3 of Swords process of kind of saying, okay, I've learned the lessons here, and so it's time to get this 4 of Cups moving. We need the 5 now. We don't want to just stay here, because this is kind of stagnant water, right? And this is just inviting the mosquitoes, right? This is kind of like we stay in the 4 of Cups long enough, and it's going to be a 7 of Cups. We're going to be in that swamp, right? But the 8 of Swords underneath everything is kind of a little bit of that overthinking energy that we sometimes get, especially when we're confronted with this prospect of this tower moment. It's like you can have this, major success, but it's going to be rough. It's going to come at a cost. Are you willing to go through a tower moment, a tower event, in order to get the success and the stability that is kind of being shown, is being offered here? And we know that the tower is, and I keep talking about the tower. I know we don't have a tower. I kind of want to peek at the mystery card, but I won't. In a big transition, in a big shift like this, which this is that doorway to the future. We know it's not going to be easy. We know it's going to require us to let go of some things. Yeah. We've got to prepare physically, mentally, emotionally to go through this spiritual gateway. And it is a spiritual gateway. And even that morning memory, its healing gift, runs a destined course. You're meant to go through this doorway, this gateway, and the energy that you need, the task that you need to complete in order to make that the least painful that it can be, is we need this healing. We need this cleansing. Okay, but the 8 of Swords at the bottom tells me that sometimes you do, in kind of typical Scorpio fashion, you tend to dwell. Okay, and I know I just got through saying, well, you don't dwell on the negative. You understand it, you learn from it, and you move on, right? Well, sometimes we dwell, okay? I mean, not always, but there is a tendency to sort of get caught up in that, the overthinking certain things. And maybe this is even kind of stemming from a lot of doubts that we have. We've got the 7 of Swords in the future position, but I feel like this is kind of a natural progression of energy. Again, I'm fascinated by the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sort of energy. It's sort of, we're building up. It's kind of like we're going through all the necessary stages. And maybe this is the stages of, they say there's, 7 or 8 stages of grief, right? I'm not getting the sense that you've lost anybody recently, or that someone has transitioned to spirit. but maybe there is that feeling of a loss. Maybe this is like, we know that in order for us to move on and level up and go through this doorway and reach this financial, physical stability in life, to get to a good place in our lives, we've got to go through this experience of parting with something. Okay? So it could very well mean that the Three of Swords is a breakup. It is a loss. It is you leaving a job, leaving a person, leaving a friendship, leaving a town, right? That has an attachment, like you got comfortable there, right? But you know that you have to move on from this. Let's say it's a romantic relationship. You know it's time to transition toward that Four of Pentacles. Doesn't make it easy. But I think you've started the process. I think that you've started to sort of gather your things, as it were, maybe literally. But with the Eight of Swords down here and the Seven of Swords, I wonder if you're kind of questioning your choices, right? You've been wondering if you've made the right decision, or if you're kind of, if you're being too hasty with something, or if you're, maybe you're not done with this yet. You know what I mean? I feel as if that's something that is a natural phase of things, right? It's kind of the last stop before the doorway, where we just kind of stop, our hands on the doorknob, and we just look and think, have I done everything? It's like, when you leave a hotel room, you're just kind of like, did I get all my stuff? Do I have my phone chargers? Do I have my keys, my wallet, my phone? We're just kind of going through that checklist to make sure everything's good before we shut the door, because then we can't get back in. We don't have the key card anymore. I kind of feel like that's what it is, but this is like a prolonged moment of running through do I have my keys? Do I have my wallet? Should I even be doing this? Maybe I want to stay in bed. Maybe I should just stay another day. Maybe it's not so bad. And it becomes this prolonged moment of hesitation, okay? And then sometimes the longer the hesitation, the more likely it is that we're going to go back to the Four of Cups, okay? Rather than, if we just kind of, if we just keep the energy moving, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, boom, then we kind of make it. But if we get stuck in any of these stages, it becomes a kind of a long time, and it's more likely that we're going to go back. So right now, I think you're in the initial kind of, you're in the initial awareness of the situation. You understand what needs to be done. You understand why this is happening. And the Five of Pentacles is kind of saying it's time for you to really make those physical plans. What's the date? What's the time? Where are you going to go? What are you bringing with you? What stuff is like the physical stuff? Considering the physical aspect, the environmental stuff. You got all your medication. What's your financial stuff like? Do you have a car? Where are you going to drive to? Like literally like what the physical steps are, the physical changes. Okay. And that's kind of step one, is to make sure you've got that kind of a plan, and it's really just sort of it's sort of the immediate plan, right? It's not a long-term plan. It's just like, how am I going to get from here to not here? Where you're going and what route are you taking and what are you bringing with you? Okay. It's literally like the plan just to get out the door. All right. And of course, the Eight of Swords is when you're at that door, or maybe this is even part of that last conversation, that last ditch effort to get you not to go. Right? Or the kind of that conversation you have with your mind that says, well, maybe I like the job. Maybe I like the relationship. Maybe I should stay here for a little while longer. Maybe I don't have enough of a plan. Maybe in some ways this is you're either leaving without a plan, or you're leaving with a plan that, it's a promise. It's kind of guaranteed that this is going to be better for you. But maybe it's just like, it's a lot of work. It's going to be harder. It's going to be more difficult. Whereas the Four of Cups is easy. I've already been here. It's comfortable. I can adapt. I already have adapted to this, right? So you know what this is. You know that it's not the best thing you can have, but you know it. You're familiar with it, right? So it's kind of like with the Four of Cups, the boat's not sinking, but the boat's not really sailing where it's meant to go anyway, right? Sailboats are meant to sail. This is just kind of anchored somewhere. It's doing okay. It's not great. But, I mean, yeah, at least it's not sinking, right? We've got the Princess of Cups at the top, okay? I think that's a new interest for you. I think that your feelings towards something have changed. And so I don't feel that there is I don't feel that there's a big emotional reason for you to stay, other than there's this sort of mental complexity of just the how it's going to happen, how you're going. It's a complex situation. We need some sort of simplicity and clarity, right? Which we don't have. We have 8 and 7 of swords, right? Maybe the ace will be over here under our alien friend. The Princess of Cups is you kind of dreaming again, having aspirations, wanting things. Not just being complacent, not being okay, not being just comfortable and familiar, but having dreams and goals and aspirations. And this is at the very top of the path of the dove. This is what is kind of important for you. I think that and maybe this sounds really bad if we're talking about a romantic relationship, but I feel like you kind of are wanting some other things, okay? Wanting maybe just something different, just to have something different. Or wanting something different in a positive way is in something that's going to be good for you. A relationship that's going to be healthy, right? To pursue something, a person, a place, but your relationship with it that has the potential to be healthy and healing and inspiring and productive rather than toxic and confusing and sort of mixed messages. Now we go over to the 7 of Swords. I think that the situation you've been in, I feel like there's been a lot of criticism, and I don't know if this is coming from the work situation or if it's a family thing or if this is a romance. But I feel that there's a lot of other energy that's sort of telling you what to do, giving you unsolicited advice, maybe not even advice, maybe more like orders, you know. And so I feel like this is kind of this is something else that you need to sort of get away from, because it's taking you away from you having the clarity about your own life, about feeling like you are autonomous, feeling as if you are you have your own agency and your own authority over yourself. It's just a lot of energy coming in that's sort of, I feel it's very critical, and I feel like it's kind of even manipulative. I think, and I don't say this often, it feels like someone's kind of gaslighting you a little bit, okay? Or maybe gaslighting is not the right word. Somebody is, I think, trying to convince you that your feelings are not really your feelings, yeah? Or that you're feeling something other than what you claim to be feeling. And maybe that is the definition of gaslighting. I don't really know. But the idea here is that you want to be on that Ace of Swords right there in the middle, but there are these other things that keep sort of poking at you that prevent you from really staying on your path, pursuing what your goals and dreams and what your sort of healthy life is going to look like, your stable and secure life will be. I think that this is also that conversation that maybe takes place. This is a romantic thing. This is kind of, this is something that goes from somebody like asking you to stay to then pleading and begging to then hurling insults afterwards, right? And so it's devolving. And it's important that you sort of stick to your guns here. You stick to your path. You made a decision and you go forward with it, right? So in this interesting way, we're going from this 8 to the 7, now to the 6, and we're going to talk about the path of the serpent. And as I do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free, and it really does support the channel, and the tarot community on YouTube right now needs your support. So all of your favorite tarot readers, I know I'm probably your number 1 favorite, but all of your favorite readers, be sure to like their videos, leave a comment to say hi, share the videos, watch them all the way through till the end. It really does go a long way to support the other tarot readers here on YouTube. All right. Okay, so going from the 7 to the 6 of Wands, now we have that victory. And really it's a victory over your own body, thoughts, and feelings, right? It's a victory over yourself that basically says, I made a decision, I had a will, and I accomplished it. So this is the feeling when you kind of get out the door here. And it's, this is a good feeling. It gives you confidence, right? It gives you confidence. And I think that this is your belief in yourself. This is you realizing that you are in control of your fate. That you have a destiny, and it's calling you, right? Fire to fire. It's calling you through that doorway. And I think that it is, you're on the path toward major, major success. Now, the 4 of Pentacles may not seem like much, but this is yours, okay? This is your success. This is your domain. This is your castle. This is your autonomy. This is your sovereignty, right? This is you being home, where you belong, right? In your energy. And I think it really is, it's something, and this, fire to earth, that you are manifesting this. You're manifesting this physical, financial stability. And I think that this is, in a large part, this is a financial thing, that financially you're going to be great, okay? But also this feeling of kind of being in your own like safe dwelling, being in your space. Yeah. And it's a fire to earth kind of thing. It's an act of creation. It is something that you are succeeding in manifesting for yourself. And it does take a lot to get through there. It takes a lot of struggle, right? And you're struggling against a lot of things to get there. And it kind of is in a way symbolized by the 7 and the 8 here of Cups and Pentacles. The 7 of Cups is a feeling of being ill. The 8 of Pentacles is the feeling of healing, right? The feeling of healing. And I think that this is really, really what it's about, is you understanding that even though it's difficult, even though it may immediately feel better to just stay where you are, in your long-term life, your major success in life depends upon you being able to see long-term. I wish we had some other cards. What I do want to do is an empowerment oracle card to go with some of this. I do feel like this is a movement of a residence or something, or moving of a job or something like that. We realize that while we can adapt to the situation, it's making us feel worse in the long term. Right? It's kind of like we like to eat a certain, like me, like I like to eat ice cream, right? And I know I talk about ice cream a lot, but I like to eat ice cream. It feels good now, but I know long term it's not going to be good for me, right? So I've got to manage it now in the moment, right? So it may feel good in the moment because it's comfortable, it's familiar, it satisfies something, but we know that it's really has these toxic elements that are bad for us long term. Here is our empowerment oracle card, empowering friendships. I select my relationships carefully and invest in them fully. I am the average of the people I spend my time with. And that's very interesting because it's kind of like when we spend our time in a toxic place, toxic work environment, toxic romantic relationship or family situation, we have toxic friends or whatever, we are the average of the people we speak. You are the company you keep, right? And so I think that this is really the important recognition of that. And then we're able to make those changes. We realize that now, I'm focused on healing, or focused on getting better, focused on creating the right environment for yourself, putting yourself in the right situation, surrounding yourself with the right energy that you're going to sort of absorb that good energy, right? That's going to give you the life that you want. If you're the average of the energy around you, go put yourself in some really high energy stuff, some really positive, high frequency energy, and you will become the average of that, right? And that's kind of the idea of healing. If you're surrounded by unhealthy things, we're unhealthy. If we're surrounded by high vibration, very healthy and positive things, we will become that. That's the Eight of Pentacles here. Knowing the right kind of water, the right kind of soil, the right kind of sunlight, and all that stuff for this plant to grow, right? To feel as if we are getting better rather than getting worse and worse and worse. Sinking down rather than extending and growing upward. Through this doorway to this very stable future. Let's see what the mystery card is. I want to see the mystery card either expand on that Four of Pentacles. Maybe it'll be an Ace of Swords. Maybe it will be the Death card, right? Your power card. Let's see what we have. Four of Swords. Interesting. Got a lot of the fours now. 4, 5, even the 7 and the 8 and the 7 and then a 4. And maybe the 4 is really what we need too, because the 4 is, in some ways, this is taking a mental break, right? But I like to think of the 4 as kind of us protecting our aura, right? Creating a protective circle around us that does not allow this negative toxic energy in. That you have managed to fortify yourself in a little bubble around yourself so that you can get out of the swamp. That you've just put your shields up now so that you can get out of this situation. And then, of course, you get to the Four of Pentacles, you can let your shields down. So I find that this is kind of, this is our ability to mitigate or minimize the influence from the negative energy coming in. Yeah, it's sort of the ability to sort of block it out. Not be moved by the 3, the 7, the 8 of Swords, the 7 of Cups. Right? That it's just kind of like, and you know, when you, I don't know if you play video games or whatever, but you put your shields up, and when you got your shields up, you can go through the enemy and they'll be shooting at you and everything. When you're fine, your shields are going to go away pretty soon. They don't last very long in most games, you know. It's kind of like that idea. It's just like you fortify yourself and you can endure the onslaught for a few minutes, right? But it's just gives you just enough time to get out of there, right? And so in some ways, this is you not getting trapped in, especially this kind of air energy. We're overanalyzing, we're overthinking, we're kind of being manipulated or gaslighted a little bit, and then we start to waver in our decisions. And this is kind of, you're fortifying yourself against that. It's kind of like you're not listening, really, you know? So I think that this is a good confirmation, and really interesting the way we have these, you know, the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. A lot of 4s, definitely. And I think the 4s are important because we have all of the active, odd-numbered cards, right? We've got the 3, we've got the 5, we've got the 7, we've got the 7, okay? And then we've got the 4, the 8, the 6, the 8, and the 4, and the 4. So it's kind of like there's this, you know, stability, and then there's change. And then there's stability again, and then there's change. And so really it feels like you're not someone who's meant to really stay in this place forever. That this is a temporary place for you wherever you are. And the longer you dwell here, the longer you kind of force yourself to stay, the more difficult it is for you to get out and the more sort of unhealthy it becomes. Okay, and I don't know if this is romance, a work thing, a friendship, a family thing, or whatever it is. But we are going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's one down below. New readings for Scorpio are on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free, doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.